All right, guys. This is like one of my favorite topics to talk about here, the things that we're getting ready to talk about, just because you guys know me and how I've built this business. And I started with like my network was like itty bitty, and I had to grow that network. But the beauty of our phones and social media is that we can get to do that from our fingertips here. So there are, and I want to say this now, and I'm probably going to establish this later on too. There are so many ways that you guys can build your business here. And these tips that I'm going to throw out here to you guys, like this is not the only way that you guys can do this. This is just what I have found that has given me the most success. I've kind of changed the way I've been doing things really this year, like the beginning of January. And you guys, my enrollments are so much better than they were in the fall of last year. So obviously it's working for me. So I want to be able to share with you guys all the things that are working for me as well. So I'm going to go over posting tonight, utilizing our stories, and then messaging as well. So 3 topics that I know a lot of people always have questions on. So I'll kind of just dive right on into it. Like I said, I took notes, so I'm going to try not to like veer off too much on different topics here. I'm pretty good for that. So the first one I want to talk about here is posting. And I think this is something that's really, really important. It's something that I think is really hard for especially a new person to kind of get into the swing of like, how do I do this? Because if somebody is like me, whenever they joined this business, I really didn't utilize social media prior to being a Networks distributor. So here I had to dive into, oh my God, I gotta post this every single day. And so it was a huge change for me. But I wanna kind of reassure everybody that it doesn't need to be that way. Like, we just need to get better of sharing our life and sharing about us. And that's really all it is to it. I think the biggest mistake a lot of people fall into is you say yes to this business, you pay for your $99 kit, and then you're like, okay, I need to turn into walking black, green, and bling and an It Works salesperson. And I want to reassure everybody that that is absolutely not at all what we need to turn into here. I will always and forever be Chrissy Mueller, and I want people to always remember me as Chrissy and not as just a Networks distributor. And I want the same to be for you guys, and I want that to show through your post here. So I took a little bit that I want to share with you guys about that. And the first and foremost that I really, really want to reiterate with you guys is that algorithms are always and forever changing with Facebook and Instagram. And although a lot of times, excuse my language, they suck, we've just got to roll with the times and we've just got to change with them. So as the things are changing within the algorithm, we kind of need to change how we're doing things as well. So I have a couple of tips as far as like the algorithm changes that we're dealing with right now, and then some tips on things that you can post, some things that you can up your interaction here. First and foremost, what's really going to be good for your showing up in feeds more, and it sounds so crazy, is just making sure, sorry, my phone's, making sure that you have some emojis in there, but don't go like too crazy with it, because you know, like if you have like 100 in there, obviously you look like a crazy person. But Facebook likes whenever you throw out those emojis there. So that's going to help you, just throwing in a few of them. Don't go obviously crazy with it and just look like a cartoon right there in your status, but throw in those emojis because that's going to help with your post there. Like I said, Facebook likes that. There's a couple of words that I want you guys to kind of stay away from, and I have a couple tricks of how you can stay away from those words. The biggest 3 are going to be sale, discount, and free. Facebook knows, like with those 3 things, you're selling something, like you're sharing something. So you want to stay away from those. And my way of doing those, because sometimes like if we have a sale, like how else are you going to say it besides we have a sale, right? So what I'll do is I'll put sale, but I won't do the words all together. I'll do like I'll do all the words capital and do like S space A space L space E space. And that way I'm kind of throwing Facebook off a little bit there. So I do that a lot with free, and maybe I'll put like an emoji on each side of the word so it like highlights the word. So that's one way that I'm still throwing that word in there, but I don't want Facebook to catch it. And you guys are going to notice If you're having these words that Facebook is catching, you're going to see that your engagement is really, really low. So I've noticed before, like I'll put a post out there and I have some of those words in it, and like 30 minutes goes by and nobody has liked it or anything. So I'm like, okay, this isn't even showing up in news feeds at all. So I'll delete the post, I'll reword it, get rid of some of those catchy words that I know Facebook doesn't like. And this kind of goes the same for Instagram as well. Get rid of those words, reword it to kind of like play along with the algorithm a little bit, and then go and repost it. So that's going to help you a little bit there. Another thing there, and this used to help us on the algorithm and now it's kind of hurting us, are call to actions. So if you say put at the bottom of your thing and you put message me, contact me, text me, they're even noticing like drop a comment or drop an emoji, even though like that's like my favorite thing to put out there. Facebook is catching it. They're seeing that like they don't want to post out there that you're expecting a response from. Like if you're putting something out there and Facebook knows that you're wanting someone to do something from that, they're going to notice that. Like Facebook is really smart, and it's going to limit our exposure on that post. And the reality of it sucks, but only about 7% of our friends are truly seeing our stuff. And so I think that's really important for us to keep in mind, and also reassuring our newbies that whenever we put those posts out there, like it would be beautiful if, let's say we have 700 friends and all 700 friends of are seeing our stuff, only 7% of them truly are. So that's what's really important of being consistent with our postings there. But there's a couple of things that you can do to kind of up that 7% number. And the biggest one is going to be you engaging on other people's posts. And like it sucks to say, like, if you engage on a lot of It Works distributors posts, that's all you're going to see on your feed. And like, it sucks because you want to be able to show another distributor love, so that way other people, like, it's boosting their algorithm. But then at the same time, it's kind of hurting yourself here, because that's the only thing that you're going to start seeing in your feed. And then that's all those people are going to start seeing in their feed as well. And we want our potentials to see our stuff. Like, those are going to be our future customers and our future distributors. So the more you're engaging on their post, the better. But what's really, really going to boost that is the Messenger, like Facebook Messenger and Just Being in inboxes is the biggest algorithm booster right now. So if you notice, the people that you're messaging on Facebook, those are the most people that you're seeing in your feed. So this is where I love the trick of, whenever it's somebody's birthday, I will inbox them happy birthday rather than writing on their wall, because that's going to get me in their inbox, and then that's boosting our algorithms with each other. So they're going to show up in my feed more, I'm going to show up in their feed more, so it's a win-win here. I know that they're going to be able to see my stuff more, and it's a whole lot more personal if you're messaging someone happy birthday, like, hope you have a great day. And I'll even do it, like, let's say I fell behind a couple of days and I'm doing a power hour by myself. I'll go through today's birthdays and I will send all those people a birthday message. But then I'll go through and I'll look and see whose birthday is tomorrow. And I'll just go ahead and send a message to those people right now. Like, hey, I know it's not your birthday, tomorrow is, but I want to go ahead and wish you a happy birthday. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. And there is nothing wrong with being a good friend, because that's what's going to attract people to you. The more of a friend you are to people, the more comfortable they're going to feel coming to you with their health or wellness goals here. All that makes sense so far? Doing good? Okay, let's see here. A couple of things to avoid, and the biggest one there is going to be copy and paste. I utilize the saved post on Facebook like crazy, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this now, you can actually have collections within your saved post. So I'll kind of explain this for those of you who haven't noticed this yet. Let's say I'm going through my feed and I follow a couple of leaders that I know that they have really good posts that inspire me for my post, because the truth of the matter is I'm not coming up with 100% of my posts. Like, I'm using the inspiration from other people, but that's the beauty of this. Like, we can do that. So let's say you're scrolling through your feed and you see somebody and they have a really good product post or opportunity post. And you have like those little 3 dots next to their name, like on the right-hand side. I had to think about that a little bit. On the right-hand side, you're going to click those 3 dots and you're going to click Save Post. And whenever you save that post, down at the very bottom, it's going to pop up and it's going to say saved. And then you can click Add to Collection. And so I have several different collections. I have events collection. So this is if I see somebody that creates a party of products or opportunity, I want to save that in my event so I can use that for ideas for future parties for us. I have inspiring posts for just something that's not even It Works related, just something that's uplifting and inspiring. I'm going to save it to that collection. I have product post, opportunity posts, and engagement posts. So just an engagement post is if somebody posts a question that they ask their friends. I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea to use in the future. So that way, all of these posts that I'm saving from other people, it's going in different collections. So that way, let's say it's tomorrow and I'm like, it's been a little bit since I've done a product post, but I need some help with this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my saved post. I'm going to go to my product post, and then I'm going to have this option of all of these saved product posts that I've used. But I think it's important that like we remember these are just, we're going to use these as inspiration instead of just copying word for word on this. And kind of like a geekish kind of tip here. Every photo on the internet has a coding to it. Okay. And Facebook is going to notice is if a particular photo gets used several times. So let's say if it's an It Works photo, obviously that's probably going to get used a lot by a lot of It Works people, and Facebook is going to recognize this coding. Okay. So the way that you want to change this is even just something as simple as taking that photo that that person posted that you liked and going in and putting it in PicTapGo, or going in and adding a background to it. Editing it somehow is going to change the coding on that, and that's going to boost your algorithm. That's going to help you out, and Facebook isn't going to recognize that as a photo that's been continually used over and over and over again. Let's see. Oh, I'm not big on just blasting out a bunch of before and after pictures on my feed. Rather than doing that, I like to use those colored backgrounds that we can use now. And in the comments section, I'll put like 2 or 3 before and after pictures. So that way I'm not just blasting people's feed with before and after pictures. I want them to be able to click the comments. But what I'll do in those comments is I'll put some more information about the product, or I'll put in there, text me at blah, 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 because that's not throwing off the algorithm. It's my status that's throwing off the algorithm. So I can do that with my comment section, but I can't do it with my actual status. Does that kind of make sense there? Okay,
so these algorithms with all these words and whatnot, this is affecting Instagram just like it's affecting Facebook.
Yes, because
what do you do? Yes, because, right. So my question though is, so for like that, like you said that yours in, the text in the post, and then you're adding in the comments. What do you do on Instagram for stuff like that then?
So on Instagram, like let's say I don't want to use a before and after picture or something like that on my feed. Obviously, I'm going to add a couple of photos and do the first photo like a pretty photo. So that way it requires them to swipe. Or like I could put it on my picture, drop an emoji, but I don't do, like if you look at my Instagram feed now, you won't see a ton of product posts. I like to do a little bit more of opportunity posts on my feed, but you can't even truly tell that it's an opportunity post until you're reading the caption, just because Instagram stories are where it's at. And I'll kind of go into that a little bit. But another good way with that, and this is kind of going off subject there a little bit, is if you want to have a feed of before and after pictures, or you want to, instead of putting it in the comments and you'll put in your actual status or post, that is totally fine. But I do suggest going in every once in a while and cleaning that up and just getting rid of some of those old pictures and only keeping the ones shown on your feed where you've gotten a decent amount of interaction. So that way you're not coming off as just an It Works distributor and all these before and after pictures. You're still like, I'm still Chrissy if someone goes to my feed and they're getting a glimpse into my life. Does that kind of make sense there? Did that answer your question too, Crystal? Okay, perfect. Um, okay. Last thing I want to talk about is posting is just some of the content that you can be posting here. Cause I think this is the thing that most people struggle with. The biggest thing that you're going to be able to do, and I hear this a lot, like, what can I do to attract distributors? Like, what can I do to get somebody signed by a distributor? And I will honestly tell you what is going to attract somebody to your company, your team, whatever, is stories. And the biggest one that they're going to connect with is yourself. Like they want to see you, they want to hear your story, and it doesn't matter how big or little your success story is because somebody is going to relate to that. And even if your success story is your It Works paycheck last month might have been $20, but you were able to use that $20 to fill up your car, that is something that It Works has been able to bless you with. So little blessings, big blessings, it doesn't matter. Share those. And I'm going to tell you, like, you're going to feel like, and you're not necessarily, but some of us do feel like, but my story isn't that great and nobody's going to connect with it. I can assure you that people will, and people want to hear about you and what you're doing here. So, and I've kind of always used this formula for my posts and helping people with their posts is think about past, present, future. Like maybe in your story, talk about, I used to not be able to do this, but because of It Works, I can do this and I get to help people do this. Like kind of fill in the blanks there a little bit and think about past, present, future. And that's how you're going to be able to create a lifestyle post, an opportunity post, and that's going to attract people in. And another thing you can do there is with your stories, introduce yourself, because we should always be adding new people into our network here. And I'm just some random girl on my feed. They don't know on their feed. They don't know a whole lot about me. So as long as I'm putting out these, hi, I'm Chrissy, here's my background, here's what I do. They're learning more about me. They're getting a glimpse of me in just like a little short story. And I know some of us, it's hard to get our stories like shortened. I know for me, it really is. But the shorter you can keep it, the better, because the less paragraphs it is, the more people that's going to read it. Because I mean, we're all guilty of it. If we're going through our feed and there's something that's like 20 paragraphs long, we read like the first 2 sentences and then we move on with our life. So just kind of think about that whenever you post your story, your introduction. Think about the person that's on the other end, like scrolling with their phone. Are you going to stop them with their thumb, or are they going to keep on going with their thumb? So just kind of think about it like that a little bit. And the biggest thing with all of that is just being you and being real. Like I said, don't get into the trap of, I just need to be like this walking robot, It Works distributor, and post before and after pictures all day, post ads all day long. Honestly, 1 to 2 It Works posts a day is good right now. Like it used to be, you wanted to do 9 posts a day and you wanted at least half of those to be about It Works. Like we don't need to do that anymore. And it's better to have good quality than the quantity being huge. So if you can just keep it at 1 to 2 good It Works posts a day, that's truly all you need. And then utilizing stories like crazy. So I'll kind of go into stories a little bit here.
Hey, Chris, can I add one little thing here? Mm-hmm. So talking about the algorithms, and this is just something that I've experienced because, a lot of us have exported our friends list from Facebook so that we can do cleanup and whatnot. And doing that, not saying that everybody has to do that or that you're in a situation that you have to do it or whatnot. But something I have learned, and I did know about this beforehand, but seeing it firsthand was quite freaking amazing, is when I was doing my cleanup, I was, of course, searching all these people. So I had this Excel spreadsheet of all these names, and the people I don't remember who they are, I'm going in and searching their name, and either I'm deleting them or I'm adding them to a list of some sort. And all of those people that I kept are all showing up in my feed now.
Even just something as simple as you searching their name is
just searching their name.
You're going to, you like this person. You went to their profile.
Yes, absolutely. So that was huge. Like those people are all popping up again. Like I'm seeing all those. So it's just encouragement to like keep going because it's taking me forever to get through this list.
And it's also a reminder there, like how many people did you come across on your list?
Oh my God.
And you're like, holy cow, I've been friends with this person for 2 years and I've don't see any of their stuff.
There's people that I have been friends with for over 2 years that I can tell you I had no idea they were friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't on my potentials list because they were added before we started doing list and all that good stuff. It's insane. And now all of these people are showing up in my feed all the time, and I'm able to interact on them more.
Yep,
so that was so refreshing to go and do that. What's also nice is in this process, I'm getting rid of so many people that are like, because I'm done with like the negative Nancy's, and I'm so I'm either okay, they were a friend from high school, I don't want to delete them, I'll unfollow them. But or if it's like a potential that I brought into Facebook 3 years ago, and they haven't signed in any fashion, and they're a negative Nancy, you know what? I don't want to do business with them, and I'm deleting them.
We can be picky like that,
and it's great. And it's like so like refreshing to do that. And I'm still, even some of them that I've kept and now they're showing up in my feed all the time, I'm like, no, it's been 2 weeks of me seeing your stuff and I'm not enjoying myself. So, and it's just one of those that's what I love about this business. And, we're allowed to pick and choose not only who we do business with, but who we spend our time with. So,
I agree. And I think we should also look at that on the other end as well is, are we somebody that people would want to follow here? Am I going to be a positive Patty or am I going to be a negative Nancy? You get to choose which one you want to be here. So that's what it's important to realize that too. But yes, you can print off your Instagram friends list. It's a little more lengthy than Facebook. So I suggest going to YouTube and search print off Instagram followers. And that's exactly how I did it too. And
and cleaning that up too and searching the people gets them in your feed and interacting on them. One other thing that I did hear, and I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but when you are interacting on posts, because of course we do that so that they show up, when you are commenting, it needs to be at least 4 words.
Yes.
So you can't just say yes. One emoji
is really good, but now they like 3 to 4 plus words.
Right. Come on, quit being so hard on us here. We're just wanting some interaction.
But think about how much it makes us be more personal here with people.
110%. As much as I don't like it, I absolutely love it because it's sparked so many more conversations too.
I agree.
Also on Facebook, how we have the different, likes that we can do, the like and the heart and the laugh and all of that. When you do the heart and the laugh, that's more positive for interaction. So if you aren't going to comment, at least do a heart or a laugh.
Facebook likes to see those reactions.
Yes, because they know that you're reading into it more. There was one other I wanted to share, but the 4 words is huge. And I've noticed too, whenever I've been doing that, on Instagram, those people are showing up more on my feed as well. So.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If you think of the last one, just hop on in. Okay. So let's kind of go into stories a little bit. This is my new favorite thing that I am absolutely obsessed with. You guys, I have gotten so much business with this, and I am in so many more inboxes of people that I have never even talked to. And I will go to these people's page that voted on my polls, and I'm like, where the heck have you been? I haven't seen any of your stuff. So I love it because it's bringing in these people that are part of my followers, but we just haven't been engaging in each other's stuff for a while. So I absolutely love stories. I am literally utilizing it for everything, and I am trying to do it so many times a day. So the good thing with stories right now, it's not algorithm based. It is time based. So every single time that you are adding to your story, think about your Instagram stories, okay? They're all the way on the top on the across here. Every time you add a new story, you're getting bumped to the first person, and then other people are going to add stories, and then you're going to want to add another one, and then you're going to get bumped to the first person again. So you always want to be that top 6 or 7 person there for your followers. So that's why it's important that we're not just doing 1 or 2 posts on our stories a day. Like if you can do multiple posts on your stories a day, it's going to work out better for you. There's so much content that you can add to your stories here that's It Works related and not It Works related. I do a mixture of both. Polls are how I am expanding my potentials list right now. So I'll give you guys some ideas for polls, some ideas for content. But before I go into that, I want to add, as you're responding to other people's stories, like let's say, okay, you're doing a power hour by yourself. I would have 10 or 15 minutes where you're going in, you're watching other people's stories and you're responding, you're replying to their stories, because as you're doing this, you're ending up in their inbox. So if you ever notice when people reply to your story, they're showing up in your inbox. So if you go and reply to theirs, that's you're showing up in their, or they're showing up, you're showing up in their inbox. So that, like, it's so important to not just use your interaction on your feed, but use your interaction on the stories as well. Even if that's just a 3 or 4 letter word, like, or 3 or 4 letter sentence, like we talked about a little bit ago, just engage with these people, be a friend with these people, get to know these people, because like I said, the more they know you, the more they feel comfortable, the more likely they are to come to you with whether they want to try a product or join your team. So definitely responding to others, engaging on other people's stories is huge. Plus, that's also going to up your post engagement as well as you're responding to other people's stories. Okay, so let's go. I'll kind of go into some content that you can use, and then I'll talk about the polls a little bit. So as far as content, like you can do, obviously you want to have It Works related content on there, but you don't want to just have It Works stuff on there. You can do quotes on there. You can do pictures of your food on there, pictures of scenery. You could do, I mean, literally, I will like go through Pinterest and be like, okay, what can I put on my Instagram story right now? And I have my Instagram story hooked up to where the moment I post it on my Instagram story, it's going to automatically post on my Facebook story as well. So I don't have to go and do both of those. It's going to automatically do that for me.
And that doesn't affect algorithms.
No, it doesn't. So we don't have algorithm problems right now on stories. So I'm like utilizing the crap out of them like as we can.
Just set that up in settings.
Yes, I am getting ready to pull that up here. Let's see. Okay, so if you go to the little gear on your profile, you go to settings, go to story settings, scroll down, and then click share your story to Facebook and make sure that's turned on. Now your Facebook will need to be linked with your Instagram profile. And as long as it's linked and you click share your story to Facebook, it's going to automatically do that. Now, the very first time I went in and I wanted to activate this, I noticed it was turned on, but my stories weren't automatically sharing for me. So if that's you, go ahead and just turn that little gear off, turn it back on, and then see if they're automatically sharing to your Instagram stories. Does that make sense?
I'm not finding it. Am I an idiot?
Okay, you click the gear on your profile.
Yeah, and then story settings.
Yep, scroll all the way down. And then share your story to Facebook.
I don't have that.
If you don't, make sure your app is completely updated.
Yeah.
And make sure you're linked to Facebook too. You've got to have your Instagram profile linked to your Facebook personal profile.
Yeah.
Okay. And as long as it does, it should automatically share it for you. So I don't have to go in and post anything to my Facebook story. Instagram's automatically doing it for me. So it's just a one-step thing for me. So where was I with that? My mind I talked about content. Just random pics throughout your day. I feel like my life is not really that interesting, but like some people are intrigued by it and I don't really know why, but so I'm just going to put pictures of my day throughout there. Like even if I'm sitting on the couch working, I'm going to take a picture of me working on the couch. I'm going to take some pictures of my dogs or take pictures of anything and put it on my story, just so I'm constantly boosting my story up there and getting to the very front of the line on the stories there, because I want my face to always be seen up there for people there. Okay. If you are looking for, like, what you can do is you can actually like recycle some of your stories too. So if you go to your profile, and at the very top right of your profile, you're going to see a little timer, like it looks like a clock thing. If you click that, that is your story archives. And everything you've ever added to your stories is there. So you guys are going to notice that stories are only available for 24 hours. So if, let's say you put a poll up there and you maybe you messaged everyone, but then on hour 24, a couple other people responded to your poll, you can go to your archived stories and then you can go and see all of your stories. So you can definitely recycle stories, get ideas for more stories there. So it's, I mean, people aren't going to remember if you're recycling some of your stories, just like we recycle some of our posts sometimes.
But there is no archive for Facebook, correct?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so. Okay. So let's go into polls here. I absolutely love this. And I mean, this is pretty short and easy. With your stories on Instagram. So polls only work on Instagram right now. It's not a feature of Facebook. So if I'm on Facebook, I'll just add on there, swipe up and drop an emoji, something like that. That way there's still like a call to action on my Facebook story. So on Instagram, whenever you're creating a story, you can swipe up and then you're going to see the feature where you can add whatever day it is. You can add a hashtag on there. You can add a location. You can add some emojis, but you can also add a poll. So you'll click poll. And what that's going to do is it's going to pop up two little buttons onto your photo there for your story. And you're going to be able to input what you want them to say. My biggest tip for you guys is don't ever put the word no, because you're always going to have those buttheads out there that are just going to want to be mean and click no for you. So don't ever use the word no on your poll option. My two options are always almost going to be the same. It's going to be sign me up or send me more info. And so I'm going to do this for an opportunity story poll, and I'm also going to do this for a product one. So let's say I'm doing a product one. Here, like the way I do it, I will go to Pinterest and I will search iPhone backgrounds, just because that's the perfect size photo that I need for my story. So I'm going to search iPhone backgrounds on Pinterest, and then I'm just going to find a picture that I like. I'm going to go into like a photo app like PicsArt I'll use, and I'll just add a before and after picture on it. So that way the before and after picture isn't the entire story, it's just a picture on my story background. And then I'm gonna upload that picture into my Instagram story, and then I'll just add words, like do a little description of it. Let's say if it's a hair, skin, and nail one, I'll put 90-day long hair challenge, who's trying to grow their hair out. And then I'll do my poll, like I am send me info or I am sign me up, something like that. A little tip whenever you're arranging your poll options is think about whenever you're looking at stories, think about the placement of your finger when you're clicking from one story to the next, and make sure you're not putting your poll option right there where people click their finger. Like for me, it's my thumb. I always use my thumb to click. And for the longest time, I would message everyone that voted on my poll, and people would be like, oh, I don't remember doing that. I'm like, well, you did vote on my poll. So it was because I had my poll option where they were clicking their finger. So I'll just make my poll a little smaller, and I'll try to put it in the middle of my phone, because most of us aren't using the middle of our phone to click for the poll. We're doing somewhere else on our phone. So that's going to kind of help you with that, and avoid those responses of, oh, it was an accident, I didn't mean to click it. And if people click to vote on your poll, they can't unclick. Like their click is there. So that's going to help you avoid those questions that people, or those responses that people are putting in there. I will do opportunity-based ones. Like I'll just search iPhone backgrounds, and I'll just do something simple with the wording on Instagram stories there, and I'll put, who wants to make an extra $500 a month from their phone? And then do the poll, yes, send me more info. Or sometimes I'll do, yes, but I'm skeptical, because we always have those people that are skeptical. So that just helps us with a different way to maybe message them from somebody else that says, yes, sign me up. And you guys, this is going to be a great way to build your potentials list. I think it's really important that as these people are voting and they're responding to you, put their name on your potentials list. So that way you always have that name in front of you of someone to follow up with. So especially when next week rolls around and we have these new announcements coming from conference, you're going to have this big list of people to message. And I can tell you guys, if you're doing a poll every single day, you're going to have so many people that you're messaging in a week long. So that's getting yourself into more inboxes. And I truly believe the more inboxes you're in, the better your business is going to be. I feel like there's been just a sudden burst in my business. And I think it's because I am in so many more inboxes of people. And that is with my stories. And then I'll also kind of go in with messaging a little bit. I think that's really all I have with stories. Do any of you have any questions or suggestions that you want to add as far as stories?
I have a question.
Okay.
So, okay, this might be really dumb, but how do you do the videos for it? Is it just one story after the next?
So, okay, like let's say if
when you add one thing and another thing.
Yes. So if I have a picture and then you click it and then more words show up and click it, more words show up.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what I'll do there is I will make my story of what I wanted to say on one of them. I'll make sure I save that and then click add to story. And then the next time I'm going to upload that same picture and then I'll just add more words to it.
You're just like layering on top of the same story.
Yep, exactly. And I love doing that. But I don't want it to be any more than like 2 or 3. Because I think after that, people are like, okay, swipe, go to the next person.
I'm sitting there like looking for the video option. I'm like, okay, like what am I doing wrong?
Because it's always going to be your oldest one first, right?
Yes.
They're always going to see your oldest video first or your oldest story first.
Yeah. Like, so the oldest, as long as they haven't seen it yet. Does that make sense?
Yep. That's right.
Right. But if you're doing like the multiples like that, you're going to post them like
they'll always see the oldest one first. So you don't need to add like all the words go
backwards.
The words
go backwards. That's what I was worried about.
And then you'll just keep adding more. Okay. And then you can change like the backgrounds on them. Like let's say you're adding the words. If you click the A up at the top, instead of your letters being a color, your background of your letters is going to be a color. Does that make sense? Okay, so you can change that. And then also there's markers on there. So whenever I'm doing those layered photos, on my very last photo with my poll, I'm going to take one of my markers and I'm going to circle my poll option. So that way, like it brings their eyes straight to voting on the poll. So it's kind of a way to just get them to vote on it too. Okay, so I think that's it for stories. We good on that, everyone? Good? Okay, good deal. All right, so I'm going to quickly go into messaging. I know I kind of went over my 30-minute here, but that's okay. Okay, so
don't you feel good just talking, Chris? Like, isn't this like helping you forget that you felt like crap all evening?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a fire in my chest right now of heartburn, but we'll be okay. Okay. So like I said a while ago, like the more inboxes you're in, the better. And like you guys, I get it. Like getting in inboxes, it kind of like gets my heart pumping a little bit. And like as soon as I start doing it, I get a little bit nervous. But once I get like 2 out there, I'm like, whew, all right, this is a breeze. I got this. And I don't get 100% response rate. Nobody gets 100% response rate. You guys, I might get a 5% response rate. But whenever people do respond and they're like, yes, I have been intrigued about this, or yeah, sure, what do you do? I could always use some extra money, or just those messages are like that are going to keep you getting into more inboxes and more inboxes. And what I love about it is even if someone reads it and they don't respond, a light bulb went off in their head and they're going to see my stuff from now on and they're going to know that I reached out to them before. And then I'm going to show you an awesome trick with Instagram messaging so that way you can kind of still continually message the same people every once in a while, but I'll go into that. So another thing is like this kind of same with statuses or posting in this is avoid the copy and paste. Like pretend you don't have that copy and paste. If you can just write up a genuine message to somebody that is seriously 3 sentences long, nothing more, nothing really less, that's perfect. Because I feel like anything less than 3 sentences, it's not that personal, but anything more than 3 sentences, I feel like you've kind of lost them. and we want to keep them right here for us. So 3 sentences is perfect. 4 sentences if you need to. I like to address people with their name. So instead of saying, hey girl, or I know some people like to say, hey love, hey babe, I mean, whatever. But I just think it's so much more personal whenever you are addressing somebody with their name. They know that I typed that message for them. So while 90% of my messages all look the same, I'm typing up all of my messages to people. And as long as they're somewhat different there, Instagram isn't going to block you. Now, if you're sending, and even Facebook too, if you're sending a ton of messages out that are exactly the same, they're going to catch it and they're going to throw you in jail for it. Like not like real jail, but like social media jail for it. And you're going to get blocked out from doing this. And we know that like every day is crucial in our business. So even whenever we do lose that day, it does hurt us a little bit. So trying your best to stay out of Instagram and Facebook jail and just kind of following that there is going to help you a lot. So I have my 3 ways of how I message people. I talked about stories. I'm going to message every single person that votes on my poll. And after my 24 hours is up on that story with that poll, I'm going to go to my archived stories like I talked about and go through and look at those people that voted to make sure I messaged all of those people. And there's going to be some people that they have voted on more than one poll of mine, and I messaged them on one and they never responded. And so whenever I go to message them again, I see my old message and they never responded. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to message them because they voted on my poll. I'm just going to hold down my finger on the message I sent them, click unsend, and that's going to get rid of it from their inbox. And also it's just going to get rid of it from the inbox altogether.
What if they read it?
That's okay. I'm going to unsend it and it's going to disappear. So let's say I messaged them yesterday about a poll and they didn't respond. I'm probably not going to message them today about the poll because chances are they're probably going to remember that I messaged them yesterday. So usually it's like a week or 2 in between. And that's typically about what it is anyway. I haven't found anybody where I just messaged them yesterday and they voted on my poll again too. So messaging everyone that votes on your polls is going to be huge for you. And again, adding those people to your potentials list. The second way that I'm going to message people is all of my It Works product and opportunity related post. So if somebody likes it or comments on it, that is fair game for you to message that person. And something so simple of addressing them hey, so-and-so, ask how they're doing. Just be like, I just wanted to thank you for the support on my post. Were you interested in learning more? And there's a couple of different ways you can word it. Sometimes I'll just end it with, were you interested in learning more? I look forward to hearing back from you. Or I'll put, were you interested in learning more, or were you just showing some support? Because that kind of gives them, they can just come back and say, I was just showing you some support. And I will come back to them and be like, I seriously appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you're ever interested, just let me know. I would love to send you more info. And just something as simple as that.
Hey, Chris, whenever you're messaging people about a post they liked, do you send them the post they liked?
I don't. I will say.
Do you ever people are like, what post are you talking about? Or because I always send the post to them.
See, and I don't do it, but I usually try to stay on top of, let's say they liked the post. I want to message them within an hour. I don't want to wait till 24 hours later. Gotcha. So I'm definitely not choosing a post from the day before. I'm doing a post that is that day, because people are just going through feeds and liking stuff, and they're not going to remember if they did it yesterday. So
do you go back? Because I have posts that people or I get likes, for multiple days, on a post. So are you going back to that same post multiple times and getting all those?
I stick with okay, let's say I put up a cleanse post today. I'm going to just message the people that liked it today. And so a week from now, if somebody likes it, I've moved on to a different post where I'm messaging people. So I'm not even going to worry about the person that liked my cleanse post from last week.
Right. But so let's say you made that post, let's say at 8:00 this morning. So obviously between 8 and 9 is mostly whenever you're going to get the most likes on it. So I know you're going to message those, around like the 9 o'clock hour, but then like later on in the day, are you going back and messaging those other ones? Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Like as they kind of come in. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't want to do it like too stalkerish. Like if somebody likes it, I don't want to message them with like 10 seconds of them liking it. I want to give them a little bit of time, but I don't want to give them too much time. So it's almost like you got a little bit of a window there. And I don't do this for every single product and opportunity post. I probably do this 2 or 3 days a week. And so I'm not going to do it on all of them. I'm just going to do it on ones that I felt like I got a good interaction and ones that I feel like people purposely liked that post for a reason. If it's one that you truly, like if it is just a selfie or just like a random picture that truly someone is liking it because they liked the picture, not because of what came with it. So, I mean, you can kind of tell a difference of which ones people are genuinely liking it or if they're just liking the photo and that's it. And I will do the ones where they're purposely liking it for it's an opportunity post or it's a product post. Does that make sense?
How do you classify an opportunity one by your pictures?
Okay.
Because usually my opportunity ones are selfies or, you know.
But if I'm holding up 2 fingers, they're going to read, why am I holding up 2 fingers?
Gotcha.
That makes sense. Or like I will do a post a lot to where like it is a selfie and I'm like pointing up and then I'm going to have some words that I put right here with word swag. I like to do those too. Like I'll like to do expanding our team or make some extra money from your phone or something like that. Or I'll do ones whenever we're having events. I'll point up and I'll put like who wants like some free products or something like that. And I don't keep those posts up on my feed forever. Like those are some of my posts that I archive or I delete. But I screenshot them so that way I can save them for future posts as well. But you can archive your post on Instagram or you can hide your post on Facebook. So that way you can still see them or you can change the privacy on Facebook to only me. That way you can still see them and it's not bogging up your feed with a lot of those type posts. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Okay, and then the third way that I'm going to message people, and I just started doing this recently, but I love it. And I don't like to consider it cold messaging because I feel like these are people that I have genuinely, like we've gone back and forth and liked and commented on each other's stuff or some point now. Even if it's only 2 weeks that we've been doing this, like they know me, they've seen my stuff, I've seen their stuff. So what I'm going to do, and the reason I do it like this is because I don't want to message somebody that just started following me yesterday and be like, hey, I love following you and getting to know you because I haven't gotten to know them in a day and they're going to know that. So I'm going to go to, let's say I'm going to go to my Instagram profile. I'm going to scroll down to 2 to 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that, and click a picture that has absolutely nothing at all to do with It Works, but I got a lot of engagement on it. And that's usually going to be like a quote or something funny or just something along those lines. I got a lot of engagement. And I'm going to click the people that like it. And of those people that like it, I'm going to go to their profile. And I'm going to look through their profile. And does this person look like somebody that I would want on my team? And if they do, and they look like somebody that I think would be great with this business. And what I mean by that is just somebody that has a good social media presence, because that's what you really truly want. Like somebody who knows what they're doing here, somebody that's positive here, somebody that already gets good interaction on their posts. Like those are the people that I want to bring into this business because I feel like those are the people that are going to really truly take off here. So I'm going to pay attention onto their feed there. And if they look like somebody that I'm like, and we all know we have those people we're like, oh, they would be so good at this. I'm going to message those people. And I personally stick with just opportunity driven for these people. I have never sent a message that just says, hey, I'm looking for people to be 90-day product testers. Would you be interested in trying this? I am not 100% against that, but that just doesn't seem real and genuine and authentic to me. And I want to stick with being a real person here. So I'm just going to stick with them being opportunity driven. And I'm going to say, hey, girl, whatever their name is, hope you're doing well. I have absolutely loved following you and getting to know your family or watching your kids or whatever they're good at posting about. And just say something about, I know this might sound silly or off the wall, but I think you would do absolutely amazing at what I do. And I don't even say, this might sound crazy because like, I don't want them to think that what I do is crazy. Does that make sense? But sometimes I'll say this might sound off the wall because we haven't ever had a conversation in our messages before. And I'll just say, I think you would do amazing at what I do. Have you ever thought about, and I'm going to change this every once in a while. Have you ever thought about learning more about what I do or making extra income from the side? And so many times people will come back with, yeah, what is it that you do? Like, how have you not seen all of my stuff here? And so I love that because then that just gets me free ride to go in there and just, so how I'm going to respond to that is something super quick, like, oh, I would love to share more about what I do. I just love sharing this opportunity with others. And I love starting it off with that because that already shows my passion to people there. So what I'm going to say to the rest of that is I'm a rep for a health and wellness company. I get paid to share our products and opportunity with others. It is such an amazing, rewarding opportunity. Does it sound like something you would be interested in learning more about? And I love ended with, I'll read that in just a second, Christy. I love ending it with, what did I just end it with there? My mind like kind of went, oh, does it sound like something you'd be interested in learning more about? I like in it with that rather than have you heard of It Works or do you want to sign up or do you like, or do you, and I also end it with, do you have any questions? I like to end it with a question. Sound like something you'd be interested in learning more about, or do you have any questions about it so far? Okay. How do you organize who you want to be sure you're interacting with? I keep track of my potentials based on their likes, comments on my product opportunity posts, but my list of who to be really intentional about interacting with is getting long. Is there a better way? I honestly think this is truly person to person, personality to personality. So for me, I can have a visual of who I know likes and comments on a lot of my stuff. Like, I feel like those people just, they're going to stand out to me. But like the people that I want to interact with and I want them on my team, like they are on my dream team and I want them, I'm going to turn on my post notifications for those people. So that way, whenever they post, I'm going to get notified so I can go in and like and comment on their stuff. But I don't want this to drive me crazy for like months every single time they post. So I'm really truly only going to have their post notifications on for me for about 2 weeks. And then I'm going to message them. Does that make sense? And I mean, I truly think it's personality and personality colors and what works best for you, because I think it's just going to vary so much across the board. I guess I just have like a good visual memory. And if I see somebody's name a lot, I'm like, okay, they're all over all my stuff. Like, and I'm going to get in their inbox too, just because that's like free reign for me. So no, I don't really think there's necessarily a better way, just a way that works good for you, but don't get like too caught up in the chaoticness of trying to stay organized with these people. Because I just think as long as you are messaging people and adding people to your network and potentials list every day, like you're doing good.
I think something that I've learned too, like if just because I message somebody, I don't add them to a potentials list.
Right.
So
once I get a response or they ask a question, I'm like, okay, we're good now.
Yes. Then I want to keep track of them, but I'm not keeping track of every person I message every time. They're only getting added to the list because they might ask like, what do you do? And if they're like, absolutely not, or no, I'm not interested, then I don't add them. Like if they shut me down immediately.
Yes, exactly.
Don't worry. I'm not wasting my time on you.
Exactly.
But otherwise, then yes, I'm definitely getting them added to a list. And that has helped me a lot with, keeping all of those user IDs, organized.
Yes, agreed.
So, Chrissy, do you still keep your notebook with all your, like your hair, skin, and nails people and your wrap people and your opportunity people? That's still working for you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have my list of people that I write down of my potentials, like Crystal said, like I have my potential distributors, potential loyal customers, wrap potential loyal customers, and hair, skin, and nail potential loyal customers. But there is a way that you can do lists on Instagram. I don't love it. I don't think it's like very user friendly, so I don't utilize it at all. But I do utilize my friends list on Facebook a lot. So the moment somebody shows interest to me, I'm adding them to my potentials list. And I have a potential loyal customers list and a potential distributors list. So on Facebook, I'm much more organized with it. I feel like it's easier to message people on there, like knowing who to message. Whereas with Instagram, I don't think it is very user friendly right now. And so I don't really utilize it much on there. Okay. One last thing that I wanted to add here with messaging, and basically everything that we really talked about tonight. And that is going to be like, you guys are going to be talking to a lot of people, a lot more people, I hope. And like I said, if you're not talking to enough people, I feel like we're not in enough inboxes and we're not engaging enough with people. So if you don't feel like you're talking to new people every day, I would up those things, and you're going to really, I can promise you're going to notice a difference. But I want you guys to know that as you're talking to more people and all of this, like, your follow-up list is going to get longer. And it's going to be so important that you remember that it is truly our job to follow up with these people. Yes, our planner works absolutely amazing for that. If somebody tells me that they're interested, but they have to work, or they have to wait until payday, I get that. I totally understand that. So I will ask them that, or I'll tell them, that sounds great. I am totally okay with that. When is that for you? Just so I know when to follow up with you. And people will tell you they don't mind. So write their name down in your planner, or put their name down in your phone to remind you to follow up with these people. But like, truly getting in inboxes and talking to these people is just the first step. And the follow-up is going to be your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th step. And sometimes it takes the 10th step to get people as a loyal customer or distributor. And sometimes it takes following up just the second time to get them in. But it's important that we are always and forever following up with these people. There are only 2 times that I stop following up with people. And that is when they sign up, or when they block me, or maybe say, no, I'm not interested, leave me alone. Like, that's truly the only times I stop following up with people. And if you are allowing yourself to be the follow-up queen, you are going to get your steps to successful that. You're going to be getting like names towards your next promotion. You're going to be able to help people with their promotion. Like, as long as you're following up with people, you're going to have these new enrollments in the system. And those new enrollments is what's going to take you from where you're at right now to where you want to be in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It's all about who follows up the most. And that's really all it takes here. Just talking to new people, following up with them, getting them in the system. That's really all I got for you guys tonight. Hopefully, I talked double the time that I was planning on talking with you guys tonight.
Doesn't that always happen?
Yes. Yeah, I thought I was like going to cut short because I wasn't feeling so hot, but.
So one thing I wanted to share, so I pointed out our planners. Now, I know not everybody bought them, and by no means do you need to spend the $35, $39 to get one, but do find a system that works for you, because none of us have the brain juice to keep track of everybody we're talking to, everybody we got to follow up with. It's not physically possible. You can be the smartest person on the earth and you're still not going to be able to do it. You got to have a method to your madness. So if I think a planner is a great idea. I mean, you can go to Walmart and you can get a $3, cheap little one that's the size of like a checkbook, if anybody on here still knows what a checkbook is, right? And keep that with you, or, have a notebook that you write stuff in. I mean, whatever works for you. Don't think that you have to go buy this freaking awesome planner. You guys can do it other ways. So I just wanted to put that out there for the girls that don't have one. So
I agree. Completely agree. Okay.